did 1 year in Ireland doing my Erasmus. So that was my approach with the English language and a bit of the outside world out of Italy. Then I moved to the UK, did my master in polymers. So I'm started to specialize in here more in materials and polymers. And then after 4 or 5 years studying, I decided to move into the industry, where I initially joined for just over 3 years, Synthomer. There is a multinational chemical company that's based in the UK. And then I did my last year and a half during my university experience in a startup, which is a completely different environment. And later on, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what I enjoyed in both scenarios, and what I like, what I didn't like, and eventually why I went back to academia. So now I'm in Spain. I just moved here 1 year ago in Barcelona. You might wonder why there are 2 flags. Actually, this is something I've learned as I moved here. So I'm in Spain, but also I'm in Catalonia. And there is a very big pride in underlining this in here. So it's a really pride region, pride culture, pride identity. So I thought it was actually worth it to not just include the Spanish flag, but also the independence flag. If you want to know more about curiosity about Barcelona and independentism, you can just contact me later. So going to the spicy stuff, why did I join the industry? So first thing, that maybe something may happen to a lot of people. After 4 or 5 years, we just started with just studying. I had no money left because I invested all my money in studying. And I was really curious to see how my theory would apply to the world. So, you know, when you're studying, you hear about projects with industries, you hear about people making it out of university. And actually, we're just curious to see how it was, you know, just applying theory to real life scenarios, seeing what it was like. And also having a bit of a change in the environment in which I was moving. So would I do it again? Yes, 100%. So what I've seen is that how and if the theory actually applies to reality. You might remember a lot of the modules we've done at university. Some of them seem like completely useless because you're like, why I'm studying this? Why I'm studying math? Why I'm studying biology or chemistry or this other module? Actually, everything helps you to understand things later. Even just the resilience of studying an exam and being stuck in a subject for 3 months, that's still a skill that you learn and you will need in industry for sure. Then when you're in industry, you learn a lot about being responsible. So we know how it's student life. We have exams, we go partying, we sleep sometimes we don't, we eat crap. Actually, when you join the industry, I'm not going to guarantee you're going to eat better, but at least you're going to be more responsible because you have deliveries, you have things you have to prove to your manager that you're actually worth it and you can make things. And this comes with another thing that is ownership too. So you're gonna be assigned a project, usually they could be 6 months, 1 year. I've been actually working in R&D my whole experience, or at least most of it. So the good thing about this kind of sector in chemistry is that it's really stimulating. You have projects on different things in chemistry. So you can be assigned a project where eventually, as you prove that you're responsible and you can deliver things, you can put more your input and you can more on the outcome of the project. So you really start to be responsible for what it comes out of it. It's not just about your manager telling you things. It's not just about your professor asking you for an assignment. It's actually you wanting to be responsible and show that the work that you put in brings something. Then the good thing in industry, especially in a multinational, which was the first experience I had after university, you have guidance, you have mentoring. Your professor at university do give you guidelines with tutoring and stuff, but in industry, they really want to form a profile. They want you to become someone that is going to be useful for them in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So actually, they try to plan with you how you can develop as a chemist, as a person, as an employee, as a colleague. Then, in my case specifically, I had a lot of opportunities as I joined Synthomer with a graduate program, meaning that I was rotating every 6 months in a different department with different projects. So I could really experience myself as a chemist and as a person in different teams, in different projects with sometimes more focus on research, sometimes more focus on other things. I had the chance to, for instance, try business development, which was something completely out of my comfort zone. And it is very cool because you may like things that you didn't know before, or you just end up knowing that you don't like them, but still you close the door. You have a lot of exposure. When you're in a multinational, you know a lot of people from many countries, from many departments. You're not just confined to your lab. And then it's up to you, of course, to reach people out, but there are a lot of opportunity for you to know people, to be known, to learn from other people that are more experienced than you. And it's very useful because you never know, in the chemistry sector, like any other sector, in industry, and when you go to work out of university, actually the circle is quite small. Once you start to specialize in things, you will realize that there are a lot of people that you wouldn't imagine that would be useful for you later, or they can help you in progressing. So a multinational really open a lot of doors for you. And then eventually, of course, there are also limits. In fact, you still have to remember you're part of a kind of machine in which your mission is actually their purpose. So they're not taking you there just to have fun, just to know things, but actually because they have to reach a profit, they have to reach goals, they have to make the company progress. So always you have to remember that your experience will be limited and shaped from what the company wants. Then my experience, if I had to kind of compare the multinational with the startup, so the positives and the negatives. In a multinational, you can't really screw up too much. You are in a safe environment where there are a lot of people knowing many things more than you. So they actually will stop you before your damage is irreparable, which is great. You have a lot of exposure. You can do a lot of projects. The pace is lower. So you have a lot of layer of managing, of other people actually having to prove what you do. And things don't go as fast as you might think before you join a company, at least in a multinational. So the pressure that you have is not as in a startup, as we will see later. You have the chance to travel because, when you're in a multinational, there are different sites in different countries. So you have the chance to meet people and colleagues in different countries. There is a medium long-term planning. They are investing in you, so they really want you to become someone that is capable and eventually can lead a team or someone else or a project in the future. So they help you in developing. It's a safe environment. They have a good support both in technical knowledge and mentoring. So they will invest in information, in courses, by pairing you up with someone that is more senior, at least 5, 10, 15 years, so they can help you in your progression and then you're growing as a colleague, as an employee, as a chemist in my case. In a startup, the team is way smaller. There is a really young vibe, like usually people are between 25 and 35 years old. So there is a lot of enthusiasm, high drive, and you actually count a lot. So there you can actually screw up a lot because the important you give to the project is actually quite down to you and the experience that you have. And there is this kind of YOLO mindset where you try everything because you only live once, and probably you can only try it once before you screw up. The pace is very fast. There is a lot of hours that you have to do. It's really intense, but also this gives you a higher salary because the risk is higher, and you're actually creating something new. You're becoming part of something that is really new, and if you actually have success, you're kind of like the father of your baby. While in a multinational, you usually join something that is already running, or is something that may take a long time before actually sees light. The disadvantage of this is that in a multinational, there's a lot of politics, a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of protocols you have to change, you have to follow. That's why the pace is lower. So sometimes it might become a bit frustrating to actually have to wait around. This is not true for every multinational and not for every manager, but in a multinational, usually things do move slower. There are more rules, there is less freedom, and the salary is lower, but it's safer. So you have to consider a bit both sides. Then in a startup, you can screw up a lot. There is a high risk of failure because everything is new, and many people maybe they haven't done it before. Things change all the time, for good and for bad. You might think, why did you put this point in both cases? Well, the good thing is that things change all the time, so you are not stuck on a project or something for too long. But also things change all the time, so you have to be adaptable, you have to be flexible, you have to actually have the ability to reschedule your week, your day, or your work package on the spot. There's a lot of pressure and you work a lot of hours. So if you go in a startup, please do it if you really like what they do. Then way back to academia. First, why not? Who said I couldn't? There is a lot of myth about once you're out of academia, you cannot make it back anymore. Probably this was true in the past because it has been seen as a career choice where once you quit is forever. Well, this is not true, at least now. And as well as me, I met many other people that did the same. My supervisor, I'm actually a supervisor, he's been in academia for many years, then he quit, he went to industry, and now he came back to academia just 5-6 years ago. So this is actually something that is possible. So don't be afraid of quitting academia, because it is possible to go back. Of course, there are pros and cons of this. You will be feeling like, oh my God, how do I go back to academia if I'm not there anymore? Well, do keep the contact with the professional, the people that you're having now in your surrounding. If you're doing a bachelor or a master, whatever, the people that you meet now could be your supervisor in the future, your colleague in the future. They could help you in getting back to academia. Sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's just merit. Let's be honest, like everything comes to place and everything contributes when you're looking for an opportunity. So don't burn bridges. So if there are people that actually have a good connection with when you're working, or people that are doing things that are interesting, do keep in contact with them, and try to do it in an authentic way. So why I actually went back to academia, what was my reason? So after all this in industry, I was feeling like I was lacking a bit of room for my creativity and my exploration. I wanted to have a project where I could dare to go a bit over just the limits and the boundaries of an industrial project. Because, in an industry, once you kind of tick the boxes of what the company needs, there may not be interest in investing money in exploring more, which is fair, because they are a business and they have a business model that have to work, and you're part of their business. So everything is fair. Just I was feeling wasn't where I wanted to be for the next years. So I wanted to be able to explore more and learn more. Well, then also, okay, student discounts. I mean, they're going to pay you less in academia, but at least you have student discounts, you have access to a lot of things, a lot of learning platform. So why not? This is one of the perks. Then your learning actually matters. So in industry, I felt like sometimes my learning wasn't prioritized, which again is the priority of the business. They do the interest, you have to make your own. So for me, after 5 years, I was feeling like I needed to invest more in my technical knowledge and investing more in learning things and having the time to do so. I found that it would be better if I was in an academic environment when I'm surrounded from experts, people they know, and then actually help me in learning more. Sorry, I'm just realizing, am I moving the slides or not? Are you seeing me or?
Yeah, and they were not moving that much, but it's fine.
Okay.
Now, yes.
Now, yes, okay, I'm really sorry. I'll just keep it here then, so I don't move anymore. Then in academia, you see you will have chances to do conferences, webinars, seminars. You have a lot of exposure there too. So this is something that's sort of similar to the industrial experience. Then you can share your project with other people that are expert in your field and actually create synergies or help each other, just get inspired from the job the other people do. Also, in here, you decide. So whatever you do carries your name. Whatever is a success or is a misery, or it's a failure, it carries your name because your project, so you have to be really accountable for that. In a way, you can get fired. I mean, I did hear people that actually quit their PhD, but I don't think it's as risky as in industry. So in that case, maybe it's a bit safer. You invest in something that you really like. I mean, usually when you join a project, in either is your project that you've proposed for which you have won a funding, which is not my case. I just joined a project, but it was something that I found that I liked, that I could see myself working on it for 3-4 years. Also remember this, you're gonna be married with this project for the next 3-4 years. So if you want to join something, please like it first. Then you work for yourself. So you feel like you are actually doing something for yourself, and it's not just like contributing someone else's profit. And then you kind of have flexible time. Maybe now it's not a big deal anymore, given that there is all this working for remote kind of thing. But we know when we are more bounded by the lab and more manual stuff, having some flexibility in timing, when you start in the morning, you finish in the evening and stuff, I think is easier to find in academia. So now, because I'm thinking I'm talking a lot, I'm trying just to wrap up and show you a little bit what I'm doing now. So as I said, I'm part of UPC. I'm in the Department of Science and Material Engineering, and my group is called Intercall, which if you would like to just type it on Google, you will find me. We work with metamaterials. So what I'm doing now, I'm just trying to say it super quick. So I'm using cellulose that is obtained from different sources. They could be cotton, could be plants, but is available in nature from many sources. And basically what I'm trying to do is to use these cellulose as a scaffold to then produce metamaterials that can be modified at nanoscale. So try to think of a balloon. Let's say you take a balloon, you inflate it, and then you put chocolate in it. This is why this brown thing is supposed to be Nutella or any kind of chocolate you might like. So let's say you're putting this chocolate on top of the balloon and you put it in a freezer. Then when you take it out, basically the balloon will be covered in chocolate with the shape of the balloon. So you can pop the balloon out and the chocolate will have the shape. So this is kind of what I'm trying to do with the cellulose now here. So we use the cellulose to sort of design to a nanoscale the shape of these cellulose nanocrystals, and eventually give them this chiral-lemmatic configuration, which will help us then later to basically create these metamaterials that have an orientation which is not found in nature, because in nature everything is either right-handed or left-handed. And in here, what we try to do is actually to do the opposite. So when this material self-assembly, it does in a way that is not found in nature. And so as a consequence, then the property of the materials would be properties that you don't usually find in nature, like negative refractive index, interaction with light is different, interaction with other kind of energies, impact energies, and sound propagation, these kind of things. But it's like too technical. So if you actually would like to know more about the project, then I invite you to maybe send me an email or contact on LinkedIn. So I'm gonna conclude in here because I think I've taken a lot of the time. Sorry for the not moving on the slides. I hope you get something new from the presentation, and I'll give back the word to Leo and to the next speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any question about it? We can do maybe, I don't know, one question and then we move to the next speaker. I mean, I have a question.
Go.
Like, what are you missing from industry in academia?
What I'm missing, one thing is that actually when I was in academia, when I was in industry, when I logged out on a Friday afternoon, I wouldn't think about work until Monday. Now it's not so much. Now I keep thinking, oh, right. Monday I have to do this and to plan this. Yeah. If I don't go, no one else is going to do it for me. So yeah, in industry, I was feeling a bit more carefree. Once I logged out, I logged out, at least from my experience for the role that I had. Maybe if you ask a manager, it's not so much. But for me, this was the case.
Thank you so much. It was very interesting. Even the project, I liked how you presented the balloon. You need to explain it very easily.